Japan, a land where the sacred and the warrior coexisted, where powerful shoguns ruled the land, and the philosophy of Zen shaped both life and art. A history filled with ancient legends, the rise of the fearsome samurai, and a nation's journey from isolation to modernization. In today's video, we will uncover the origins of this fascinating country, from divine myths to the bloody wars that shaped the nation. Join us as we dive deep into Japan's unique history, the birth of its empire, the samurai's rise to power, the violent Sengoku period, the transformative Meiji Restoration, and much more. Long before Japan became a unified nation, its people believed their land was shaped by divine forces. In Shinto mythology, the sun goddess, Amaterasu, is said to have created the islands of Japan with her divine power. Her brightness gave life to the world, and her influence was felt in all aspects of Japanese culture. Amaterasu wasn't just a symbol of light but the very essence of life, revered by all as the guardian of the nation. Her divine lineage didn't stop with her, it extended through her descendants. The most important of these was Ninigi no Mikoto, Amaterasu's grandson, who was sent to Earth to bring peace and rule the people. He descended from the heavens with 3 sacred treasures, a mirror symbolizing wisdom, a sword for strength, and a jewel representing kindness. These treasures became more than objects, they were symbols of the emperor's divine right to rule. Throughout Japan's history, the emperor was seen not merely as a ruler but as a direct descendant of the gods, uniting the nation under a divine authority. As centuries passed, Japan's central authority weakened, and local warlords known as daimyos began to gain power. The emperor's influence shrank, and the country plunged into a state of chaos. Amid this disorder, a new warrior class emerged, the samurai. These warriors were bound by a strict moral code known as Bushido, the way of the warrior. Bushido was more than just a set of rules, it dictated how a samurai should live, fight, and even die, with honor, loyalty, and courage. One of the most important figures in early samurai history was Minamoto no Yoritomo, a brilliant military leader who changed the course of Japanese history. After years of bloody conflict during the Genpei War, Yoritomo defeated his rivals in the Battle of Dan no Ura in 1185, a decisive naval battle that cemented his control. Following his victory, Yoritomo established the first shogunate, a military government that would dominate Japan for centuries. Under his leadership, the samurai became not just warriors but the rulers of Japan. The emperor remained a symbolic figure, while the shoguns wielded real power. Though the samurai were fierce warriors, their lives were not just about battle. Over time, they adopted a new philosophy that deeply influenced their way of life: Zen Buddhism. Zen, introduced to Japan from China during the 12th century, emphasized simplicity, self-discipline, and inner peace. These teachings resonated deeply with the samurai, who sought clarity and calm in the face of constant danger. Zen helped the samurai focus their minds and control their emotions. Meditation became a core part of their daily lives, allowing them to remain calm and collected even in the chaos of battle. Zen also extended beyond the battlefield, influencing the broader culture of Japan. The serene tea ceremony, with its precise, mindful movements, became a reflection of Zen's emphasis on simplicity and harmony. Calligraphy, with its flowing brushstrokes, and gardens, with their carefully arranged stones and plants, also reflected Zen's focus on imperfection and the beauty of the moment. The peace that the samurai once enforced did not last forever. The Sengoku period, also known as the Age of Warring States, saw Japan engulfed in nearly constant conflict. From the mid-15th century to the late 16th century, powerful warlords fought for control of the country. One of the most ruthless and ambitious of these warlords was Oda Nobunaga. Nobunaga's rise to power was marked by his strategic brilliance and willingness to use new technology. In 1575, at the Battle of Nagashino, Nobunaga deployed firearms on a massive scale for the first time in Japan. This revolutionary tactic changed the way wars were fought in Japan and helped him consolidate power. Nobunaga's dream of unifying Japan was carried on by his successors, Toyotomi Hideyoshi and Tokugawa Ieyasu. After years of fighting, Hideyoshi managed to bring most of Japan under his control, implementing land reforms and a rigid class system. But it was Tokugawa Ieyasu who, after Hideyoshi's death, finally secured Japan's future. Ieyasu's victory at the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600 allowed him to establish the Tokugawa shogunate, which would bring 250 years of peace and stability to the country. Under the Tokugawa shogunate, Japan entered a long period of peace known as the Edo period. Society became highly structured, with strict social hierarchies that dictated every aspect of life. The samurai remained the ruling class, but they were no longer needed for constant warfare. Instead, they became administrators, scholars, and keepers of the peace. During this time, Japan adopted a policy known as sakoku, or national isolation. For over 200 years, Japan closed itself off from the outside world. Foreign influence was minimal, and no one could enter or leave the country without permission. This isolation allowed Japan to develop a unique culture and economy without interference from foreign powers. However, while this policy helped preserve Japanese traditions, it also left the country unprepared for the challenges of the modern world. In 1853, Japan's isolation came to an abrupt end. Commodore Matthew Perry of the United States arrived in Japan with a fleet of black ships, demanding that the country open its ports to trade. Japan, unprepared for the military power of the West, had no choice but to comply. The arrival of Perry's ships marked the beginning of Japan's transformation. The Tokugawa shogunate soon collapsed, and in 1868, the Meiji Restoration began. Under the rule of Emperor Meiji, Japan underwent a rapid modernization process. The country adopted Western technology, military strategies, and industrial practices, transforming itself from a feudal society into a modern industrial nation. By the early 20th century, Japan had emerged as a powerful empire ready to compete on the global stage. Japan's journey from divine origins to a modern global power is one of resilience and adaptation. From the sacred myths of Amaterasu to the disciplined lives of the samurai, and from the chaos of civil war to the rapid modernization of the Meiji era, Japan's history is both rich and fascinating. If you want to dive deeper into the legacy of samurai, shogun, and Zen, this is the perfect opportunity. Learn more about how these elements shaped Japan, influenced its culture, and continue to resonate today. Click the link below to explore further and unlock the captivating history of Japan.